This year will mark 30 years since my wife and I said I do to each other. And looking back in 1990, as wedding plans were being made, my wife wanted to get married at the Botanical Gardens in Fort Wayne. And so the venue was rented and plans were coming together. And the week before the wedding, my wife and her family, they went to the Botanical Gardens to check things out, make sure everything was as they expected, and to figure out how the things were going to be laid out. Well, the week before, they had changed the theme for the gardens for the upcoming season in which we would be getting married. And the new theme for the season was The Wizard of Oz. And as she walks into the garden, there's the old shack, the house that fell on top of the witch that had the ruby slippers. And the Wicked Witch was hanging right above the main entrance to the gardens. And my wife was a little distraught at the moment. The thought of she was wanting this beautiful venue, and now it's the Wizard of Oz? Looking back, we were glad that it happened that way. You know, it was a little distressing at first, but the memories that it brought will last a lifetime. But no matter the fact, on the day of our wedding, you know, even though it was the Wizard of Oz theme, the focal point of attention on that day was not the Wizard of Oz. It was my bride. The most beautiful thing in that gardens were not any of the plants and flowers. It was my bride. All the attention, all the focus was upon the bride that was coming to be married that day. And it is a beautiful picture. It's a beautiful thought of that is how God sees his church. That is how Jesus sees the church that comes together. You know, we look at the church around us and we think, man, we're all messed up. Sometimes there's some weird things that go on and the arguments that take place and the splits that happen. And sometimes it looks pretty ugly. But when God looks at the church, when Jesus looks at the church, he sees beauty. He sees perfection. Because we are the bride of Christ. The church of Jesus Christ is his bride. And so when he looks upon us, he sees us with complete beauty. You know, think about that. Those of you who are married, or those of you who are dating, and you guys, you men, you look at the women in your life. Is there anything more beautiful than she is? Especially on that wedding day. Where is your attention drawn to? Who is the most beautiful thing in that room? It is your bride. And that thought, that idea that when you are madly in love, especially, you know, young couples when they're first dating and it doesn't matter what happens or what is done, your girlfriend, your bride can do no wrong. She's beautiful, even though the world may look at your significant other and say, man, what was he thinking? But as the groom, your bride is the most beautiful treasure in the world. And that is how God looks at his church. He sees us as being the most beautiful thing in all of creation. When Jesus looks at us, he sees perfection, and we can do no wrong because his eyes are focused on the bride, his bride, the most beautiful thing in all of creation. And so as you go into this day and into the rest of this week, remember, when God looks upon you, he sees perfection. He sees beauty. Because of Jesus Christ, because of the blood of Christ that's on us, he sees beauty. He sees perfection. Because we ultimately are his bride, his significant other, his counterpart, his helpmate for all of eternity. You are the bride of Christ. We are the bride of Christ. May we experience that beauty and that perfection that He sees in us each and every day. God bless. Have a great day. See you next time.